Hello friends, good morning and welcome to ASTA Academy. We are going to look at linear algebra today. The questions that come on SAT from linear algebra domain are essentially on linear equations or inequalities, linear functions, and system of linear equations. Now the question that arises is, what is linear or nonlinear? Well, the maximum power in a variable, if it is 1, then the expression is linear, otherwise it's nonlinear. Now let us come to the next slide. We will look at certain word problems that come in the SAT towards the end on the difficult section. Okay. What are the steps to solve the word problem? There are 4 basic steps. First one is to define the variables that represent the quantities. Once you have defined the variables, you write the expressions, equations, inequalities for the relationships given. So there will be certain quantities and some relationships given in the question. You need to identify those and write those relationships. Once you have written the equation, you can solve them and then finally interpret the solution. Let's look at a sample problem. So here is a sample problem. In 2014, County X had this many miles of paved roads. Starting in 15, they decided that they will build 8 miles of new paved roads every year. At this rate, how many miles of paved roads will be there in 2030? And you have to assume that no paved roads go out of service. So first step is to decide the variables x and y. X is the independent and y is the dependent variable. So looks like 2014, 15, 2030, these are times here in years. So x will be your time, which is always an independent variable, number of years after 2014. What can be y? Y is the number of miles of paved roads in any year after 2014. Second step is to write the relationship. So the equation here is that the number of miles of paved roads is equal to 783, already existing in 2014, plus 8 miles of paved roads every year. So this becomes your linear equation. Next step is to solve the equation. Now for 2030, you have to find out how many miles of paved roads will be there. So first we need to find x. X corresponding to 2030 will be, we are starting 0 at 2014. So we subtract 2014 from 2030. X is equal to 16. So we put x equal to 16 in the equation and we solve for y. Answer is 911. So the final step is to interpret the solution in context. So there will be 911 miles of paved roads in County X based on the data that is provided in the question. Now there could be variations. Based on the data in the above problem, which of the following is true? Okay, A, B, C, D. We have actually already solved this. So on the right hand side, there is a constant number which is 783 actually. So 8 and 2014, A and B choices will be ruled out. Out of C and D, we know 783 is the number of paved roads in 2014. This 738 is given to confuse the students. Okay, so the answer is D. There could be another variation of the same problem based on the data in the above problem. In which year will the County X have at least 1000 miles of paved roads? Now at least here is very important. Okay, so the relation which we just derived or formulated is still valid. Okay, and how do we proceed? Well, first we need to use the linear inequality concept. Why inequality? Because of the at least here. Okay, now at least 1000 means greater than or equal to, right? So in which year this quantity will be greater than or equal to 1000 miles of paved roads? All right, so this entire statement we can write in this form of this inequality, that is 783 plus 8x is at least 1000, that is greater than or equal to 1000. Which year it will happen? So once we have this inequality, we can find the value of x, which will be the year. Now x cannot be a fraction, it has to be an integer because an year is an integer. We can solve it and find that x is greater than or equal to 27.125 or the year 2041.125. We obviously do not have year 2041.125, which essentially means that 2041 is gone, so it will be in 2042 sometimes in the early part. So it takes the next available integer. So answer is 2042. Lastly, we interpret the results. So in the year 2042, there will be at least 1000 miles of paved roads in the county X based on the data given. So that way we have learned what is linear, what is non-linear, what are the word problems, how to solve them, and we looked at a couple of examples also. Thank you very much.